Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have a very special training, how to use Amazon Marketing Cloud to successfully scale your brand on Amazon. And with us is Vincenzo Toscano. How's it going, Vincenzo? Welcome.
It's going great, Gary. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure to share some of my wisdom with your your following and all the people that trust you so much. And it's definitely an amazing chance now to really leverage some of the things that are happening in the space, such as Amazon Marketing Cloud. So I think it's gonna be an interesting conversation. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. And I'm super excited to bring back Vincenzo. He's an alumni speaker at Seven Figure Seller Summit. He's also the founder of Ecomcy, global e-commerce growth agency. They work with seven, eight, and nine-figure brands scale profitably on Amazon, Walmart, and TikTok. And I was having a chat with him recently, and what's working right now. And he told me that Amazon Marketing Cloud, this is the hot topic. This is super useful. So before we get into this training, we got a lot to cover. Vincenzo, can you share with us a little more? Who's this training for today, and why is it so important?
Yeah, so I think when we had the conversation about, what kind of content we could put there to support Amazon sellers, Amazon Marketing Cloud was the first thing that came to mind because of how Amazon is changing. I'm seeing a huge shift from being the traditional way of running ads, which is always being keyword focused, to being more towards programmatic advertising, similar to what we have experiencing in terms of Meta and Google. Now we see that Amazon is really trying to understand the consumer in terms of the lifestyle, the gender, where at the base, like the whole history on the platform, and now they're giving you all those insights to effectively come up with strategies when it comes to advertising to effectively convey the consumer to buy your product. So to answer your question, Amazon Marketing Cloud is definitely something that maybe is not going to be insightful on day one of launching your product on Amazon because you have no data. But I would say if you've already been selling on Amazon for 6 months, 12 months, and you already have I would say early six figures when it comes to revenue is already something you should be looking into because it's something that the competition is already implementing. Most of our brands are already implementing it, and we're seeing huge uplift in terms of performance. And that's why you really need to understand how it works and why effectively you have to reverse engineer when it comes to your brand. Because if you don't, that's effectively a loophole that is gonna make the competition take more market share over you, and long term it's gonna penalize you. You know.
Absolutely. All right. So I know we got a lot to cover, Vincenzo. So without further ado, would you like to share your screen and we'll get
Yes,
started?
of course. Thank you, Gary. So let me share my screen, guys, and I'm going to walk you through the presentation. So effectively today we're going to be focusing around how we can leverage Amazon Marketing Cloud to scale effectively your brand on Amazon. And I'm going to give you everything from the basics, the introduction, all the way to real implementation, real life scenarios, so you can understand how we go from point A to point B and how this can relate to you and effectively improving your current performance. So let me give you a quick introduction about myself in case you don't know me. So I'm the founder and CEO of Ecomcy. We've been in the space for over 7 years now, and we specialize on when it comes to full service agency in the Amazon space. That means we help you optimize everything around your PPC, your DSP, brand creative, international expansion, everything under the sun when it comes to Amazon. And we also support brands now expand on Walmart and TikTok. When it comes to ourselves as an agency, we have a team of over 70 people. We're a global team. We effectively have brands across all the main regions when it comes to Amazon. And in fact, when it comes to proven record, like we have worked with over 1,000 brands, currently an active portfolio over 100 million revenue and over 30 million in ad spend when it comes to advertising. So we have a lot of expertise in terms of, implementation. And on top of that, trying to reverse engineer what is working, what is not, and come up with some of this presentation that hopefully is going to give you the insightful of what you should be doing in 2025 to succeed. And on top of that, myself, I also have a podcast. Feel free to check it out. Where I had people like Gary. It's called the e-commerce lab. We try to bring some of the brightest minds in the industry to try to really put value out there that is going to allow sellers to, leverage all the expertise of things that we go through, and hopefully that's going to give you a very easy understanding of what is working, what is not, and make your journey as successful as possible. Now, let's jump into the topic. So I think the most important thing is why we need this kind of Amazon Marketing Cloud and why it's important. I think the most important thing is understanding how complex Amazon is getting, how competitive it's getting. What I mean by this is a lot of times when I'm having conversation with sellers that they're struggling, the reason why they're struggling is effectively they got stuck into the 2014 way of doing things, which was kind of a very top surface, a lot of assumptions. There were not a lot of implementation when it comes to a analytical side of things, and a lot of it, if I'm honest with you, was down to luck and timing. But that's not the case anymore on Amazon. Now we really need to understand effectively where consumers are coming from, what the competition is doing, how the market is shifting, and how Amazon Marketing Cloud is changing the game. Because effectively, Amazon Marketing Cloud, what allows you to do is combine all the data around effectively your audiences. And when I say audiences, people that engage with your brand, your listings, your keywords, and now you're able to effectively grasp what is going on in terms of, are they engaging, are they not engaging, who spend more money with me, who is a recurring customer, what kind of touch point have to happen, what kind of audience is giving you the best return on investment on a specific time of the day. So now the level of granularity that you get is better than ever. And that's why sometimes when I'm having conversation with sellers, that they say, yeah, it's getting very difficult, I'm really struggling, like I really having a tough time. Most of the times because you're not doing these things, and most likely your competition is doing it, because you're able to now data fusion everything in terms of what is happening from an audience perspective, and you're very clever and you understand your product. Now you're able to create a very detailed kind of journey when it comes from top of the funnel to bottom of the funnel to have the maximum kind of probability when it comes to converting these customers. Now, some of the things I love about Amazon Marketing Cloud is effectively you have to see it as a room, right? Where in this room you have effectively data coming from different sources. One of the sources is going to be effectively coming from Amazon, which is all the engagement that you get throughout your listings. One source is going to be effectively from 1P data that Amazon has that is effectively they give you access to it. But the one that I like the most is the cross-channel kind of integration, because what we're seeing in today's age is that it's not enough anymore to only have a presence on Amazon. Like, you really need to understand how to have a presence on your website, how to have presence potentially on TikTok, on Walmart, and so on. And now Amazon Marketing Cloud finally allows you to integrate all these different touch points, because let's be honest, most likely what you do on TikTok is going to have an influence on what you do on Amazon. What you do on your website is going to have an influence on what you do on Walmart. And you need to find ways to effectively understand how that all comes together to make a decision where you, for example, to put your money, how to prioritize inventory, which product to keep, which product to scale, and so on. Now, how the data collection happens. So, as already mentioned, the number one source, which is where most of you should be focusing on, is on Amazon channels. So this means sponsored campaigns, and DSP is the main source. And of course, all the different engagements that happen through organically throughout your brand. And this is going to give you a pretty good understanding of, what kind of journey a consumer has to go through to make a purchase. In fact, through the presentation, I'm going to show you very insightful reports where now I'm able to tell you exactly, for example, for specific clients, the level of engagement a client has to have to make a purchase. For example, this is a client that most of the time they have to have an engagement, for instance, sponsored brand through a video campaign, because the typical product that they have to be educated about it. Then they have an engagement on sponsored product, because then they keep researching deeper into keyword, and then usually they end up converting with sponsored display, which is retargeting. So very quick example of me by using Amazon Marketing Cloud coming to this conclusion, how it's been key, because without Amazon Marketing Cloud I wouldn't know that, and sometimes I could come to the conclusion, which is what a lot of people do, of saying this kind of ad doesn't perform, this ad is wasting me money. But sometimes campaigns can actually persuade you into thinking, if you only have a look, for example, at the console level, that yes, this keyword's losing you money, this campaign losing you money. But what if you knew that that campaign that's losing you money is the reason why in the bigger picture you're making money? It's because it's a touch point. That even if that touch point is not a sale, that doesn't mean it wasn't part of the decision making of that person. So that's where Amazon Marketing Cloud now effectively is changing the game. And as I said, the first and third party data, like within Amazon and outside of Amazon, that's something that if you know how to combine, is definitely gonna give you a significant edge.
Vincenzo, sorry, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So, based on what you've shared with us so far, it seems that AMC it gives you the complete picture of all of your
Mhm.
different marketing channels. So that you have Amazon, you have your own website, you have maybe
Yep.
Walmart and like TikTok and like how the traffic is like they're both all like integrated and what's working like on a high level. Is my understanding correct?
That's correct. That's correct. Effectively, and I'm gonna show you some screenshots so people can visualize it even better.
Hmm.
Now you're able to tell how all the traffic comes together in essentially
Mm.
if it's having an engagement organically, if it's having an engagement sponsor brand or DSP. And the beauty of that is that now it's not anymore a guessing game.
Yeah.
Before you had to run all these ads and you were hoping that in the bigger picture you're making money, and if you made money,
Yeah.
then you really didn't have a way to tell, okay, which campaign now I'm able to effectively remove without killing the momentum I'm building. But now with Amazon Marketing Cloud, you can tell that. And by bringing to the equation cross channel, is now effectively a Pandora box, because now not only I'm telling you with Amazon Marketing Cloud how all these different consumers are engaging through a different touch points, but how what I'm doing outside of Amazon is influence their behavior. Because now
Hmm.
you want to know if people first going to your website or they're coming from a newsletter,
Hmm.
X, Y, and Z. Okay.
I see. And one other thing, because I feel like many sellers they don't know that AMC access is not automatically available. Will you be covering about, what's the fastest way for them to get it set up and, maybe
Yeah.
ecom see how they can help them? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I can mention it right now. So the way
Hmm.
you get access to Amazon Marketing Cloud is usually through two main methodologies. The first one is if you work with effectively an authorized agency like us, we can unlock it within your account very fast because we have access in the backend, and you get that enabled within your account. The second approach is you must have most likely an Amazon rep. If you reach out to Amazon rep and you effectively ask for Amazon Marketing Cloud, they
Hmm.
should be able to enable it. Now, sometimes because we know how things might operate with Amazon, that second process might take longer, and not
Yeah.
necessarily they will always enable it, because at the end of the day, sometimes it's at discretion of certain conditions they might take into consideration to give you the yes or no. But effectively, those are the two ways, either through an agency or through your Amazon rep. Mhm,
Okay. That's clear. Thank you.
mhm.
What's next?
Now, something I would like to go deeper is effectively around the security and the privacy of this data. I know, especially in Europe, when Amazon Marketing Cloud was released, there was all this kind of, uh, I guess, far back from consumers, like, oh, now brands are gonna know exactly how I behave, who I am, X, Y, and Z. And also from a brand perspective, some brands were getting scared because by having all this data, it might make you compliant to certain things that if you don't know how to essentially store this data, you can be liable, right? But the good thing of Amazon Marketing Cloud, just to answer that question, which I know has been a big one, is all effectively um, covered from a perspective that is all encrypted. So I'm gonna give an example. Myself, Vincenzo Toscano in Amazon Marketing Cloud is not Vincenzo Toscano, is number 257, right? It's just a number, right? So that means 257 behaves in a specific way. It's a male, it's 29, it's Italian, blah blah blah. But that's the only thing. You will never be able to know the name or actually the face of the person. So effectively the data is only shown to the brands from a numerical point of view. In the sense, it's all based around KPIs. I will never be able to effectively know the persona or the name. So just to make that very clear, because I know some brands were asking, oh, can I actually have more access beyond the traditional kind of access you might get to programmatic? But no, you cannot see the names, you cannot see the last name, you cannot see the address. It's all suppressed at a layer that you have enough information to make a decision making, but it's not the details that will allow you to know where that person lives and effectively knock on their door.
Hmm.
So this is very important for you guys to understand. Okay. Now, something you guys have to be very mindful about is Amazon Marketing Cloud 1 year ago was very complex because you had to effectively understand how to put queries, which is SQL kind of abbreviation you see here. These are essentially queries you put in the system to actually make the system throw something back at you. So for example, I could make a query, say, okay, I want to create an audience of people that target this kind of behavior, this a kind of a lifestyle, X kind of condition. Amazon Marketing Cloud will effectively create a bracket that will put all that data in there, and then you're able to effectively do things with that data. The good news now is Amazon has made pre-built kind of templates now. So now Amazon already has pre-built audiences that you click, and for example, Amazon automatically creates an audience of people that in the last 30 days are high spenders, or people in the last 7 days has only come to your brand because of organic or because sponsor. So now Amazon is making it very easy for you to access kind of Amazon Marketing Cloud and make sense of it. However, something that is very important is that you need to understand how, first of all, to make sense of that, and what are the metrics actually that are gonna define success. Because another important thing is that we have brands that success is based on lifetime value. For our clients, success is about effectively how many times the client engage with the brand and recurring purchase behavior. Our brand is all about impressions and exposure. So that's another thing that you internally have to define, because the metrics that define success for you are going to be the foundation how you create your audiences in the first place. So that's something it needs to be very clear. And again, if you work with somebody like us, we're going to have that conversation. We're going to try to understand what you want to achieve with your brand, and that's how we make sure that the foundation and every single audience that we create in Amazon Marketing Cloud is effectively designed from the perspective of achieving your milestones. Now, here is what I wanted to show, Gary, and this is effective to make it very graphical. If you guys see the screen, this is a specific client, right? The client wanted to start using Amazon Marketing Cloud, but the reason why they wanted to start using Amazon Marketing Cloud is they wanted to understand how, by combining different type of ads, that would create effectively revenue and unique reach, right? In this specific scenario, you can see that when we start actually combining in this specific example, right? We start combining DSP with sponsor display and sponsor brands. That's when we started to actually achieve the biggest kind of revenue attribution compared to, for example, only sponsor products or compared to only sponsor display. And on top of that, something that we also try to understand with this kind of reporting is what is a unique reach, because people that will do only DSP, in this case this client, he wanted to understand, okay, DSP is true, it doesn't bring a lot of revenue maybe on this instance, but look the amount of unique reach. This is people that if it wasn't for DSP will never actually discover this brand or this product. So maybe from a revenue perspective alone it's not powerful enough, but we can see that when we combine that with sponsor display and sponsor product and sponsor brands, is a significant uplift in revenue. And this is the beauty of Amazon Marketing Cloud. Now we can come to these conclusions, we can understand what works, what doesn't work, and be able to actually create these segmentations. Like another example here, just to make it even more graphical for everybody watching the video, you can see on this report, the client, for example, he wanted to understand what is the type of combination, and this is performed by path. That means when you do Amazon Marketing Cloud, it will give you different paths towards a conversion. You want to know people come from sponsored products, people come from organic, people engage from different kind of sources, but which one is the one that gives me the highest purchase rate? And funny enough, if we have a look at the graph, you can see here how this one, when combining DSP with sponsored product with sponsored display, is the one is actually giving me the highest purchase rate. Almost is nowhere near compared to the other ones. In fact, you can see also the amount of revenue that kind of combination, over $500,000 compared to other ones that are nowhere close if they are in isolation. So that's where Amazon Marketing Cloud now is able to tell us, okay, for all the people that had an engagement, DSP first, which is why I'm using number 1. Then engagement number 2 is sponsored product. Engagement number 3 is sponsored display. Create an audience. All the people that has actually engaged on this order, which I see is the one having the highest purchase rate. Find me people is similar to them. Create a lookalike audiences. Now Amazon effectively giving me the key to the Pandora box in some sense. It's telling me these are people has the highest purchase rate. These are people spend the most amount of money with you. Take this audience and replicate it, right? And that's where Amazon Marketing Cloud becomes super, super powerful, because now not only I'm able to maximize people that is having a specific behavior that I'm looking to effectively achieve throughout the KPIs that define success for me. But with that audience, and I'm sure you guys have seen it already in our videos, newsletters, and everything, I can then also move that to sponsor products campaigns. Now that's a new feature that was released very recently. Now, for example, if somebody's looking for, let's say this is a water bottle. Now I can tell all the people that had this path and is within an audience, and Amazon finds people that is very similar to these people. If they type water bottle in a sponsor product campaign, make sure you increase the bid by 50%. That means now only people that behave from a KPI perspective the same as they have behaved in the past with my products that they're converting the highest, that's where I increase my bid. So now my PPC start rather than being generic on a keyword, that regardless of who typed the keyword on the other end, I will pay the same bid. I only will increase my bid when Amazon is telling me that they are behaving similarly to the people that has the highest engagement and purchase rate with my brand. So now you can see
Vincenzo,
how you can be
yeah,
more efficient.
yeah. This is very interesting. It almost reminds me of like Facebook or Meta ads because you're
Exactly.
looking
Yeah.
at,
Yeah.
like the behavior and, almost doing like lookalike audiences, as you said.
Mhm.
So my question is Amazon like, are they considering, like, let's say, using Vincenzo as an example, right?
Yeah.
Are they considering like age? Are they considering like the gender? Are they
Mhm.
considering, I mean, like what are
Yeah.
they considering? Like, is it like how deep is it? You know?
Yeah. So, for example, it goes as deep as gender, age, education level, acquisition power, which is which bracket of earning I am,
Mm,
where I'm living, what is my
okay.
past purchase behavior in terms of type of products,
Mm,
things as for example, remember that now Amazon, for example, owns Amazon Prime, right? So
mm,
they even know now which shows I'm watching. For example, if I'm always watching, if I'm gonna make something now, if I'm always watching, let me think of I don't know, like Game of Thrones.
yeah.
It's not Prime, but to make sense, if I'm always
Yeah.
watching Game of Thrones, that means if somebody's selling for whatever reason pros have to do with dragons, they might
Yeah. Yeah.
look target everybody that has watched Game of Thrones. And
Mm,
because
yeah.
I have the behavior on Amazon Prime to watch Game of Thrones, now I
Mm,
can target that audience. So it goes as
interesting.
deep as that, everything,
Mm,
right? So
mm,
that's why this is super game changer, because now we're transitioning from being only keywords, which is top of the service, no, now keywords, but also how's the person behaving behind the keyword search.
mm.
So that's a
Okay.
key difference.
And is this chart, is this from AMC or is this like you guys
Yes,
generated it?
this is actually custom reporting we will do in terms of putting it together, but with the Amazon Marketing Cloud, and that's another thing that I'm gonna actually explain deeper to the presentation.
Mm,
We're able to tailor that. You can do your custom dashboards as well, and you can do your custom queries. So again, that's the beauty of Amazon Marketing Cloud. It's like an empty room,
mm.
and you're able to do whatever you want with it. You have the level of flexibility, but again, for that level of flexibility to be efficient, you need to understand what is happening. And that's why a lot of people are having a tough time, because to some extent, all these things I've been explaining are also technical.
Yeah. And are you going to talk about the NTB? I believe that's YouTube buyer
Yeah.
sales. I mean, is that
Yeah. So
something that
here, for
people should
example,
pay? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so
Hmm.
that's actually good that you mentioned, because the next screen is all about that. This is, for example, another breakdown that I can do now with Amazon Marketing Cloud. For example, the client wanted to know what is the NTB revenue of only DSP compared to sponsor brand, sponsor display, sponsor product. And here, with this level of reporting, now I'm able to tell you, first of all, the new to brand to DSP in this case was 65,000. But on top of that, the client wanted to know, tell me actually beyond new to brand revenue, what percentage actually repeated customer, right? In the overall revenue kind of schemes. And you can see here now with Amazon Marketing Cloud, I can even give you that level of breakdown. I can tell you, for example, what percentage is a repeated customer, what percentage is new to brand. I can actually also tell you what percentage of the total revenue is new to brand. And this is actually where things start to become very interesting, because for example, out of DSP that we made in total that month, 125,000 in revenue, 65, almost 50% was new to brand. That's very good. That means 50% revenue is all these people that has never bought us before. So that's where you start making that assessment. Okay, how DSP behaving, how's it overlapping with other type of ads, and when you start combining that data, and on top of that, get the best performing campaigns and create audiences out of that. That's where the the moon is the limit, right? Because you can go as high as you want. You can be very clever, create a lot of segmentation, and go very deep, right? So now here's some examples. So this is effectively something I want to add some numbers here, because this is something you have to be. I already know these numbers on top of my head because I see it on brands when managing, but you need to understand how this is affecting the game. On average, we're seeing, and this is something I'm overseeing on case studies and all of that, 20 to 25% increase on ROAS when you start using Amazon Marketing Cloud. Why? Because now you're able to understand, first of all, have a better understanding of your attribution. And on top of that, we combine Amazon Marketing Cloud and all the things I've been saying, you're able to effectively analyze data faster than before. All these things I'm saying, by the way, these are things we were doing before Amazon Marketing Cloud existed. But it will take us so much time. We have to download all the report. We had to create our own macros. And to be honest with you, even then was a bit of guessing. That's why now is completely different. And that's why brands are doing Amazon Marketing Cloud. And that's why I'm so vocal about this. They're monopolizing the space, because what is going to happen is Amazon Marketing Cloud, just as you mentioned, similar to Meta. And Meta is heavily driven on pixel, which is audiences. But guess what? Somebody in Meta, just to make the example more easy to understand. Let's say you're doing Meta ads for 10 years, and now a person starts doing Meta ads this week. The person that has 10 years running ads on the same niche, you're never going to be able to catch up, because the amount of data and accuracy that his pixel has is mind-blowing compared to yours. And the same is going to happen with Amazon. The people that jump on Amazon Marketing Cloud now is going to be able to create audiences. They're going to be so refined and so accurate that people that don't do it is going to have a tough time to them enter onto those niches, because now they have the answer. They know exactly who is the consumer, and they know exactly when the ads should show to have the highest probability of success, right? So that's why is effectively a no-brainer. And here, for example, you can see some other things we are seeing, like overall, and this is actually the one I like the most, the conversion on average. 30% improvement in conversion. Why? Because the reason why we see such a uplift in conversion is exactly what I said. Let's say somebody's looking for water bottle, but on top of that, on that keyword, I only make sure I overbid on the keyword when it targets specific audience. I can be very intentional to make sure that my ad only show if I know I'm gonna convert the client. Here, of course, some high-level benefits, which is something I've been very vocal throughout the whole presentation. I will say the most important thing that I like the most, if I'm honest with you guys, is this one, underperforming, because I can tell you how many people can be so more profitable just by doing this. Don't even care about optimizing, because that's of course important. That's going to increase your revenue. Only this, I can sometimes only cutting your expense by 10%. That's money you put in your pocket. As simple as that. And now with Amazon Marketing Cloud, you can know that, right? It's as simple as understanding these campaigns effectively are not adding anything to my bottom line, and that's why we have to take action. So take action, guys, because I'm telling you, like, the amount of money you can save, and on top of the money you can save, then reinvest in the right strategy, can completely change the game for you.
And that is so important right now, as everybody knows, given the high tariffs, the 55% if you're importing from China. I mean, we're trying to save every dollar we can. So if you can eliminate those underperformers like, with AMC and all the data, and I mean, that's going to be a huge game changer, guys.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say the other thing I love about Amazon Marketing Cloud, which is something people doesn't know, is that it's cookie-less. So that means it's not like what the issue we're going through Google and Meta, that there's less tracking that we can do because of compliance here and there. Remember, Amazon has created their own ecosystem. As soon as you create an account with Amazon, you cannot opt out of this. So that means without cookies, Amazon is tracking every single thing that you're doing. And that means effectively Amazon Marketing Cloud is going to be, and it's already becoming, more accurate than Meta and Google when it comes to targeting. So that's why if you get it now, you're going to be able to create a momentum that's going to be unstoppable on long term, given effectively the amount of insight Amazon Marketing Cloud is giving to brands that know how to leverage that effectively.
Vincenzo, when you say it's cookieless, that means that, all of the iOS, all the privacy security, all those settings,
Yeah,
you can kind of like
you don't have,
bypass that because if you're
yeah,
logged into your
bypass
Amazon
everything.
account, Amazon has all that data
Yeah,
within their account,
as
right?
simple
Yeah.
as you have, as simple as 70% of purchase happen on a mobile phone on the app.
Yeah.
When you download the app, you're already saying track everything I do. So
Yeah.
it's like
That's
there's
the
no good.
Pandora's box, right? Once you
Yeah, yeah,
download the app.
yeah. So what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is, when now you jump on a website, you have to say cookies or not, and you have
hmm
to approve it.
hmm
Have you ever seen Amazon asking you that? That's what I mean.
Never.
Amazon doesn't ask you that. So that
Yeah.
that's why this is scary to some extent, but also so powerful because Amazon
Yeah.
has managed to crack the code to track
Right.
you from A to Z without you
Yeah.
knowing and give that information to brand like us to be able to effectively target
Right.
consumers. And again,
Right.
I'm gonna tell you something as well. This is shouldn't be seen as a invasion of privacy because another day I feel actually this is better for consumers. Why? Because now I'm able to show you ads only if I know you're gonna buy. I'm not gonna bombard you with a ton of ads that make no sense and random things that usually happen with Meta and Google because they're very broad. The
Yeah.
beauty of this is that at the end of the day, it's also gonna make a better consumer experience because now the ads are gonna be so personalized and so targeted that you're only gonna
Yeah.
see them if I know they're actually relevant to you. Yeah.
Right. Right. hmm
And again, this is a very quick case study. I mean, here, this is something we're doing with some of the brands. This is a consumer brand that they were actually really struggling to understand, what were some of the campaigns that were overspending and all of that. And just rough numbers, so you have pretty good understanding. We went in, we reduced the bleeding. We understood what data was working, what was not. We went into cross-selling, understood the other channels, and within 6 months, around 6 months, we increased effectively the ROAS by over 20%. That's crazy for a big, and this is a seven-figure brand, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like Amazon Marketing Cloud, if you know how to leverage, if you know how to read the numbers, it can be effectively night and day when it comes to results. Here some examples I wanted to show you. Like a foundation, of course, is going to be the number one thing you want to leverage. And what I'm trying to say with that is make usage of Amazon audiences as well. Amazon is going to give you access to a lot of 1P data. That's your starting point to start the momentum, but maximize the templates. Templates are becoming very nice on Amazon in the sense that they're very accurate in terms of using your historical quick data to create some of those templates. Use that as a starting point and build on top of it. And then, of course, if you're a professional like us, make sure that all those templates and audiences are fully tailored to your needs. And I would say, as a conclusion, and then, of course, happy to take last questions, is we have to understand that the way Amazon is going is towards audiences. The reason why Rufus is such a big thing is because Amazon is trying to maximize how much money you spend with them. How do you achieve that? By effectively tracking every single engagement with them in terms of what you have bought in the past, age, gender, where you live, all the things that we mentioned. But from an advertising perspective, that's going to be the same thing. They know that keyword search is going to become to some extent obsolete because if everybody now is engaging with Rufus, asking questions about, I'm going to a trip to Italy, and Amazon knows that you go to Italy usually in August. That means it's very hot, and you like specific themes when it comes to clothing here and there. Now, Roof is gonna do your whole shopping cart, but on top of that, now when you run ads, your ads can effectively target a person that has taste on a specific kind of designs and go to Italy in August. So you see how both things come together, like from an advertising point of view, from an Amazon point of view, and you as a consumer getting the most personalized experience. And that's something you have to understand because if you don't build your audiences now, and you don't become this fortress, long time you're gonna struggle because only doing things around keywords is gonna be obsolete in very soon. We're already seeing it happen, so it's something that you have to start investing right now. That's why effectively what I did with Gary is I wanted to offer like this kind of free consultation with the team where more than happy to jump on a call, understand where your brand is when it comes to Amazon Marketing Cloud. If you haven't done it, give you a full insight understanding of what the competition is doing, how you can effectively leverage Amazon Marketing Cloud on your brand to effectively attack your competition, and what you can expect in the next 6 months when it comes to return on investment, how this is going to change the game, and give you a pretty granular understanding of why this is a must and how this can be effectively a game changer when it comes to keep scaling your brand on Amazon. So feel free to scan the QR code to book the call. And other than that, Gary, as usual, pleasure.
Thank you so much, Vincenzo. Highly recommend that you guys consider the free Amazon consulting strategy call, because obviously we covered a lot when it comes to AMC, and I mean that's only the tip of the iceberg. And why not get more thorough audit for your specific brand, finding out all of the data and also the potential forecasting that you can, in terms of growth for your brand. So the link is below in the video description. Vincenzo, I just had a couple quick questions before we go. Is AMC available in different international Amazon marketplaces? And do you know which ones, like Europe, Japan, etc.?
Yeah, so it's pretty much deploy all the main markets. So all the main markets has already Amazon Marketing Cloud deployed. There's some specific but very small markets that might not have it yet, like Amazon Egypt and things like that. But the main ones have it. Yeah.
Okay. And so let's say when you're helping one of your clients, brands expand from, let's say, like Japan to EU, for example, how do you use AMC to understand the different customer behaviors between these markets?
That's very good, actually, question, because when we do international expansion, localization is king, which is something I'm very vocal about as well. A very
Hmm.
clear example how you might use this is, let's say you already have a pretty good understanding of your audiences in Japan, but you're launching into Italy and you don't really understand how to effectively adjust your advertising to target the consumer in that region. And now Amazon Marketing Cloud allows you to also do that on specific regions, specific kind of behavior, age, and all of that. And on top of that, what usually I do is ChatGPT is a very good starting point as well. Let's say you're launching this brand from Japan to Italy and
Hmm.
you effectively have done some research already, but you combine that with ChatGPT in terms of asking, how this product is behaving in Italy. Give me Google Trends,
Hmm.
analyze these reviews from this pro on Amazon Italy. Come up with a brief of the avatar, in terms of what the avatar should look like, and that
Hmm.
would be a starting point when it comes to audiences. And then from there, it's a momentum that you build up from there.
Excellent. And what about in terms of, the biggest mistakes you're seeing these types of sellers make right now when it comes to AMC? I mean, what should they focus on first to avoid these types of mistakes?
So I would say the biggest mistake of Amazon Marketing Cloud is sometimes taking decision with not big enough data samples. So for example, you need to give time to the system to show validation. And this is something that even applies to traditional PPC. Sometimes because you see a keyword making a sell once, you think that keyword now is going to be your main keyword. It's not
Hmm.
the case. Amazon Marketing Cloud is the same. You give it time, give it consistent. Don't make a decision only based on a few kind of a interaction that might seem consistent. And when I say consistent, it should be at least 2 or 3 weeks. It's not something that happened 3 days in a row and you think you already should do an audience out of that. So that's what I mean. The biggest mistake is assumption. Let the data speak by itself, and if the consistency stays the same, that's why I will proceed and scale that audience further.
All right. Perfect. Thanks so much, Vincenzo. And for people that want to connect with you, besides the QR code and link below, what's the best way to connect with and follow you?
Yeah, so you can also find me as Vincenzo Toscano, all the social media channels or eComC. Feel free to DM me. Always happy to add value. And as I said, like this is something I'm really passionate about, and I'm really investing a lot of time with the team as well to come up with the best strategy. So I'm confident that if you have some questions when it comes to Amazon Marketing Cloud, most likely I'm able to add value, and hopefully that can be one of the things that can help you navigate this tough year, which I know has been very competitive, a lot of things going on, but that's why we try to do content like this to really think out of the box and make things different.
100%. I mean, this has been a tough year, but when the tide rises, all of the boats rise, right? So I
Exactly.
definitely leverage AMC to stay ahead. It looks like right now is the perfect opportunity to get in first. You can have like the early mover advantage. You can really start building that data before your competitors do, and you can really have the advantage. So again, Thank you, Vincenzo. And for everybody watching, the free Amazon consulting call, 30 minutes, highly recommend you check that offer out. Link below in the description. All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will see you at the next session. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye bye.